There are 5 stages to anything, really, so, he had to go through that denial stage first, and that's okay. But truth, often hits us hard at first. But, once we sit with it a little bit, it starts to sink in. So that's why I wanted to add the I started the song out with a simple boom ba dum ba dum, boom ba dum ba dum, boom ba dum ba dum, boom ba dum ba dum. I just wanted it to kind of strip things back to basics. What basics, right? Bass. I just kind of wanted to get to the heart of what is electronic music, and I thought, what better place to start than for bars of bass. The lyrics come in with, I am actually scared. What makes fish not an animal? You gotta be kidding me. What makes fish not an animal? An animal has 4 legs. That's not an animal, you're thinking of a mammal. So, this was a conversation with my father in our local Asian bistro. As you probably have heard, I recently turned vegetarian. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. It has been an incredible journey, but I briefly considered being pescatarian. But I was reminded of the beautiful song by Nirvana that goes, and I quote, "It's okay to eat fish, 'cause they don't have any feelings." And I thought to myself, why is it okay to eat fish? They do have feelings. And that's kind of what sparked the train of thought, if you will. Just because it has scales and it swims in the water, as my father said, does not mean it is not an animal. So that's just a little peek into my brain there, but that's how I see the matter. You will hear my father actually pull his iPhone out and ask Siri, is fish an animal? And I said, fish is an animal. I just looked it up on Google. Fish is an animal. But this was perfect timing. And these lyrics were all improv between us. But this perfect timing. Siri actually says, fish. Fish are animals that live in the water. Right after I said that. Which, if that's not divine timing, I don't know what is. I decided to punctuate that with a boom sound effect because this signifies a moment in my father's history when he has a realization that I could not have brought him to on my own. He needed Siri to tell him that, or else he would not have even accepted that was the term for a fish. So the boom sound effect kind of brings us into his perspective for a moment, and you feel how surprised he is to learn this information. Which then he replies to that with, that is so effing twisted. Which, there are 5 stages of grief, 5 stages of anything, really. And the first stage... Sorry, I get emotional. I get emotional when I talk about fish. There are 5 stages to anything, really, so... he had to go through that denial stage first, and that's okay. But truth often hits us hard at first. But, once we sit with it a little bit, it starts to sink in. So that's why I wanted to add the not only to serve the double purpose of, not only to serve the double meaning of we are talking about water, right? We are sort of invested in this universe of water and ocean and fish and creatures in the water. So the splash sound effect really was also a nostalgic effect, because I had heard that sound effect in my childhood playing Minecraft. So I thought, what better way to conjure these emotions in people than to bring up something that they recognized from their childhood. So then we have the bass drop, which for me, I was inspired by Skrillex to sort of emulate this era of electronic dance music that always had a drop, where the drums will pick up and the sound effects will sort of increase. The next lyrics are, "It swims in water. What are you talking about?" Which really kind of, these two characters, or these two real people, in fact, are going through a moment of trying to understand each other. Or at least one of them is trying to understand the other one. That person being me. I am trying to understand what he means by proving that fish are not animals by saying they swim in water. Because whales swim in water, which I also used a whale sound effect and a dolphin sound effect to kind of bring to remembrance that, wait a second, mammals can be in the water too. And the final lyrics delivered by my father are skunks, possums, and then you have reptiles, which are more like freaking dragons, which really spoke to me, but not in the way of convincing me. It really spoke to me about who he is, who he thinks he is in this life, and in this community and brotherhood of all of these creatures. He thinks he is the top of the food chain. I did not eat sushi that day. I ate tofu.